Welcome back to Steve's Sports Corner. Glad you can tune back in. I've got my notes ready, so let's get into the numbers. All right, everybody, we are previewing Week 4 matchup between the New York Football Giants and America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. So let's start with the Giants. All right, the Giants' offense, passing wise, they have Daniel Jones at quarterback. He has completed 62 of 104 yards with a 59.6 accuracy average. 600 yards he's thrown, 5.8 average, 200 yards per game. Rushing, Devin Singletary is their best rusher. He's got 42 carries for 197 yards on a 4.9 average. His longest is 43, 2 touchdowns, 65.7 yards per game. He's got 2 fumbles. And so their next best rushing is their quarterback, Daniel Jones. He does have a little legs. Not the greatest. He's not Lamar Jackson, but he can run the ball. Daniel Jones got 19 carries for 67 yards. He's got a 3.5 average. His longest is 9. He's got averages 22.3 yards per game. He has 1 fumble. All right. So what about the receiving core for the Giants? Well, it starts with Malik Neighbors. He's got 23 receptions on 37 targets, 271 yards on 11.8 average. He's got 3 touchdowns. His longest is 28, and he averages 90.3 yards a game with 127 yards after the catch. So he's definitely going to have to be covered. Wan'Dale Robinson for the Giants. He's got 15 receptions on 24 targets, 123 yards, 8.2 average. He's got 1 touchdown. His longest is 20 yards. He averages 41 yards a game, which is not great, but he still needs to be covered at 63 yards a catch. Because Dallas is known for making sure that people who normally don't do much does a lot. All right, so let's talk about the Giants' defense. They have Micah McFadden. He's questionable for Thursday night. He's missed a game already this year, but he has 13 solo tackles in those 2 games. He's got 6 assists and 19 total tackles with 1.5 sacks and 1 tackle for loss. All right, Bobby Okereke, I think is his name. I can't pronounce very well. 7 solo tackles, 12 assists, 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss himself. So we'll definitely have to make sure he's blocked. Jason Pinlock, sorry. He's got 12 solos, 6 assists, 18 total tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. Remember Dexter Lawrence? Well, he has got 3 sacks himself this year, so we're going to have to put a body on him. The offensive line is struggling right now. So we're definitely going to have to cut the line of scrimmage. Will have to be won by Dallas. If they're going to win this game, they're going to have to control the line of scrimmage. I know it's true for every game, but Dallas really needs a win. If they don't control the line of scrimmage this week, they're going to lose. Okay. So let's talk about Dallas's offense a bit. All right, passing wise, Dak is 74 for 122, which is a 60.7 accuracy average, 851 yards passing. He's got a 7.0 yards average, 283.7 yards per game. His longest is 65. He's thrown 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and has been sacked 9 times. So again, the Cowboys are having difficulties controlling the line of scrimmage. I'm going to keep driving that home each and every video until something else happens, because the Dallas cannot control the line of scrimmage on either side of the ball, which creates a problem. And that's the first and major problem you'll have. It's not good, all right? So let's talk about the Dallas's rushing game, if that's what you call it. Rico Dowdle has 23 carries this season for 88 yards, 3.8 average, 10 yards his longest, no touchdowns, and he averages 29.3 yards a game. Terrible running game. Deuce Vaughn, 7 carries, 20 yards this year, 2.9 average, 4 yards as longest. They need to get him involved much more in this game. They need to bring in Dalvin Cook, I think, and have Deuce Vaughn. You could give Deuce Vaughn pitch left, pitch right, handoff left, handoff right. It don't matter, okay? Just give him the ball in some space and let him work. Let's talk about the Cowboys receiving core. CeeDee Lamb, okay, which I think CeeDee Lamb missing out on training camp has affected his play. He's got 13 catches on 24 targets, 218 yards. He averages 16.8 yards a catch. He's got 1 touchdown as long as 65 yards, and he averages 72.7 yards a game. He's fumbled the ball once, which is last week, which was a bad fumble on the 9, and he has 106 yards after the catch. Jake Ferguson, he's back He's going to be back again this week, which was great. Last week he has 9 receptions this year on 16 targets, 110 yards, 12.2 average. Okay, and as long as it's 26, it's 55 yards a game he averages with a 44 yards after the catch. All that will improve for Mr. Ferguson, I promise you. Let's talk about the Dallas defense. The real bright spot this year has been Eric Kendrick, the free agent we picked up, the only free agent we really picked up over the offseason, and that's a different video for a different day. We'll talk about the Dallas crappy offseason soon. He has 14 solo tackles this year, 15 assists, 29 total tackles, 2 sacks, 1 tackle for loss, and 1 interception. DeMarvion Overshawn, who week 2 didn't play a lot. I don't know about week 3. He played a little bit more, I think. He had 12 solos, 9 assists, 12 total tackles, 1 sack, and 1 tackle for loss. Micah Parsons, who's not performing very well this year, he needs to step up. He's only got 9 solo tackles this year, 3 assists, 12 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 tackle, and 12 total tackles. And what about Mozzie Smith? Where's Mozzie Smith been at? He's a first-round pick, 26 pick overall. He's got 3 solo tackles, 0 sacks, 0 tackles for loss in 3 games. He's averaging 1 tackle a game. That's a first-round draft pick, averaging 1 tackle a game. The guy talks a lot of noise about how great he is or how he wants to be a football stud and star, but he's not performing at all. I mean, when do we let go? When do we just stop saying, all right, you're not worth it, let's move on from Mozzie Smith? It's going to have to be sometime this season if he don't pick it up. Let's see here. Of course, we have Giants special teams. They have, last week, their kicker had 1 50-yard kick. It was 50 yards. Their punter, Gillian, he's got a 67 long punt. He averages 48.3 yards a kick. We all know Brendan Aubrey is amazing. 450. He's got as long as 65. He's not missed an extra point. He's a bright spot of the Cowboys this year. So let's talk about injuries going into the game on Thursday night, week 4 for the Giants. Micah McFadden's questionable. Derek Lawrence is questionable. And Nick McLeod is out. For the Cowboys, DeMarcus Lawrence is questionable with his shoulder. Kalen Carson's questionable with his shoulder. And then Marquise Bell is questionable with an ankle. And then Jordan Phillips is on the IR, which they may need to bring him back soon. Let's talk about the Giants and the Cowboys all-time matchup, okay? Let's see here. They've had 124 meetings. The Cowboys have won 75 times, lost 47 times, and have 2 ties. The Cowboys actually are on a 6-game win streak against the Giants, which may be broken Thursday night. I just don't. I see the Cowboys falling to the Giants Thursday night. I think the Giants bring it to them, and I think the Cowboys are going to start giving up. They didn't quite give up last Sunday, but I think without that personal foul on a late hit on Dak would have stopped that one of them drives, and they wouldn't have scored. The game would have been as close about score-wise, and I think the Cowboys probably would have gave up as a team. And I think this week, when they lose, they will give up. I just don't see the Cowboys winning. I think the score is going to be 28-24 Giants. That's what I'm thinking. Let's talk about the NFC East. Right now, Washington's leading the NFC East at 2-1. Philly's 2-1. Dallas is in third at 1-2 with the Giants at 1-2. So I don't know. The winner of this game won't be in the bottom of the NFC East this year. It's going to be a battle between the Giants all year and the Cowboys, who's going to be the worst in the NFC. And I think the Giants will be pulling ahead of the Cowboys. I just don't see the Cowboys having a great season. I think there's a lot of turmoil inside the organization. The culture's bad. Jerry Jones is terrible. It's not good times in Dallas right now. But we'll see what happens. All right, we'll see you in the next video. Like, share, and subscribe.